So this is gonna be another lighting video. I've done a couple of those recently. I installed these brand new Morimoto XB Evo headlights. Right at the beginning of this year, I installed their XB taillights on the truck. Today, I'm gonna be replacing my third brake light. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys, and welcome back for another video. If you're new here, my name's Chris. Right behind me, this is the Fortune Taco. It is a little windy today, so hopefully with a little fuzz on here, you can't really hear the wind too much. I apologize if it's a little windy with the audio today. Like I mentioned in the intro, we're gonna be replacing that third brake light here on the Fortune Taco. I'm gonna be replacing it with this third brake light from RAD Designs. If you're interested in this, as always, links will be down in the description below to RAD Designs website where you can check this out. They don't only make them for Tacoma, they make them for Fords and Chevys as well. So make sure to check out their website if you're interested in upgrading your third brake light. I know it looks like these are small. We'll verify for sure when we actually plug these in, because I don't know right now off the top of my head. I believe the top two white ones are actually gonna be red. These are gonna be brake lights. And the bottom yellow ones, I believe, are white. These are the cargo lights. It could be reversed. We'll find out when we actually power this thing up. But these lights are very, very tiny. But don't let that fool you. These lights are very, very bright, even for their small size. And then we have two cutouts here that, if you're familiar with the Baja Designs brand, then you know that shape is for the S2 pods. So we have some S2 pods we're gonna be flush mounting right into the RAD Designs third brake light. These are gonna act as chase lights or dust lights, whatever you wanna call them. Another thing I did, so I got these in an SAE fog configuration, but they didn't make them with the factory amber option, so I bought two factory amber lenses. I'm gonna be swapping those out so it matches all my other factory amber on the truck. And with the lens configuration being an SAE, if you're not familiar with that, that is typically your fog light, and it has a very linear cutoff, so it's not just shining light everywhere. My hope is with installing the SAE in the third brake light as dust lights or chase lights, hopefully these won't be blinding people, but that's something we'll have to test out once we get this installed. Go take it out and see what exactly the lighting pattern is on this, and hopefully it works. So the first thing I want to do is take out that factory light. So what we need to do, going inside the truck, we're gonna pull down the headliner a little bit. There are bolts on the backside of this light inside the cab, so we can pull that off. We have this wiring harness, which was also provided by RAD Designs, that will connect to the Bajas, and that has just a positive and negative feed that we have to run under the headliner and then down into the engine bay where the switch controller's at, so we can control those chase lights. So let's get into disassembling this and pulling out that factory third brake light. There's two plastic clips right here that we need to pop off so we can pull this headliner down. Now with both of those off, the headliner can come down a little bit. Now that I actually got in here to feel the bolts on the backside of this, it feels like we're definitely gonna need a deep socket. I don't know what size yet. It might be a 10. I thought this was gonna be easier to get out, because it's pretty hard to get to. But now that we have those two bolts off, we should be able to freely get this out. Your light's gonna be sealed all the way around with some like double-sided 3M. Probably using like a plastic pry tool, being a little bit safer than I am. Free up all that adhesive. All right, so I kind of slowly was working my way around, trying to cut away at this adhesive as much as I could. Once you finally work your way around, you can see the 3M foam tape all the way around here. Once you get yourself all the way around that and you finally get it cut off, you can pull out that factory brake light. Take these headrests out completely. On either side, there is a little airbag symbol here. Once they get popped out, there is a bolt back in here. So it's gonna be a 10 millimeter. Now with that bolt out, I should be able to pull that back just enough. There we go. Start to release the headliner. Get this one off as well. Beautiful. That out of there. That's a 10 as well. That's convenient. Okay. Actually, yeah, pull that whole thing out. I don't know the exact length on this harness, but I'm gonna say quite a bit. Let's see, that's the back of the truck. Yeah. The harness is literally longer than my Tacoma, so I think it'll be safe to say it's gonna reach from the engine compartment to the third brake light. So with this red and black side, that's what's going to the engine compartment or wherever your switch controller is located at. Leads at the other end, and these are both Baja connectors. So the black and red portion will want to feed up through the headliner, hopefully down that A-pillar so we can go into the engine compartment. So I got it pulled through the firewall. Now, 6. So we got that wired. So with one of my Baja lights, I'm gonna connect it. Perfect, that's connected. I'm gonna turn on my S-Pod switch. There we go. And actually, like, look in here, so that's a fog light cutoff. So see, I was talking about just a very small line. So when this is hopefully shining back, it's just gonna be kind of like a beam of light, so you can see the light, but it's not a spray of pattern. So hopefully it's not blinding to some people. It's one reason I went with this SAE cutoff, was to work as a chase light, to let people know I'm there so we don't have accidents happening, but using the SAE cutoff so hopefully people are not blinded. So now that I got all that gunk off there, I use some rubbing alcohol to scrape it up and clean it really good. You want to make sure to get it as clean as you possibly can because you need a weather tight seal. If you leave any gunk on there, when putting this new one on, you could have some type of weather leaking issues. There is a foam weather seal all the way around on this RAD Designs light. So yeah, you want this to make the best contact with your vehicle, making it a nice 100% weatherproof seal so you don't get water coming in the cab. The next thing I want to do before I lose sunlight, sun's starting to go down, I want to get these Baja Designs lights swapped out to the factory amber lenses and then also installed on here so we could then install this up on the truck. You're going to take the face frames off that come with them, and then with the same hardware, the same 4 screws that were in the Bajas holding on the original face frame, you're going to insert the light from the back and then put these 4 screws in so you get a nice flush Baja mount. And look at that factory amber. I'm in love with that color. All right, with the nice clean surface here, we're going to take those 2 retainer clips and we're going to slide them on to each side where the original factory holes are at. So we now have multiple wires coming off of here. 2 from the Bajas. Those are going to go to that wire harness with the Baja connectors on it that we ran through the headliner. And then all the other lights come with this nice plug and play harness from RAD. That's going to get connected right to our factory connector. Pop that in there. Tighten this up slightly. I got the third brake light installed, and then I came out to a nice dark location out on a farm near my house using some lighting. That is the only type of light source out here beyond the light is pretty dark. I want to do some light testing with this third brake light, show you guys what kind of light output to expect if you were to get this RAD Designs third brake light. Honestly, the white cargo lights on there were too bright. I know it sounds crazy. We talked about it earlier in the video. Those are small lights, They were too bright for me. So I contacted RAD Designs and I asked them if I'd be able to buy 2 more red lights. They sent me out 2 more, I swapped them in. I'm gonna show you guys that here in just a moment, but my cargo lights are red, brake lights red, and then the amber chase lights from Baja Designs. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip on that cargo light real quick and we'll show you just how bright these little tiny lights are. That is the cargo lights. You guys have already seen what it looks like out here with no lights. It's pitch black, and just seeing on the camera, look at the bed of the truck. Look how much light output is lit up in here. And it's hard to tell obviously here because of this light. I'm gonna see if I can turn this off for a second. So the only light out here right now, other than a little bit of moonlight, is these red cargo lights. And if we look back, you can see just these cargo lights. The only purpose for these is to light up the bed of the truck. But look how much light it is throwing back this way and shining on the dirt road here. Even just looking at myself, I'm probably about 20 feet off my rear bumper, and look how well lit I am just from those 2 little cargo lights. And trying to just look at the light output itself here in the bed of the truck, because once we look back this way, this is a combination of both cargo lights, the brake lights from RAD Designs, but also, like I already mentioned, the Morimoto taillights. But this is also just a good example to show you the combination of those 3 and what kind of light output and power we are seeing going to the back of the vehicle whenever you press on your brakes. And as we can see here, I'm walking. It is still pretty well lit for how dark it is. I'd say I'm about 50 or 60 feet behind my vehicle. For those small lights, light output is pretty impressive. The next thing I want to test, if you can already tell behind me, these chase lights are very bright. Only for being Baja S2s, they are very, very impressive for such a small light, but it's more than enough for a chase light setup. Just comparing it to earlier when we did the brake lights, how much further you can see this yellow light going back here. Let me step back beyond my white lighting I have here, just so you can see nothing but chase light. So even though I did use the SAE cutoffs with those S2s, it still gives out a very, very good amount of light. What I also like with it is it's focusing that beam in one direct section rather than spraying it everywhere. So you're getting actually a larger amount of light in a small area, if that makes sense. There's one little bonus feature I want to share with you guys, and that is going to have to deal with Baja S2s. And if you combine them with an S-Pod switch system, you're going to have more control over these lights. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So for those of you that might not be familiar with an S-Pod switch system, if you have the Bantam X touchscreen system, this will be a huge benefit. And what I mean by that, so I have my chase light here in switch number 6. With the S-Pod system, you have the ability to dim light. So right now I have it, let's see, we can go all the way up. So it's at 100% light. With this dimmer, say I wanted to run my chase lights at nighttime like we are now. Let me show you an example. This is at 100% light, and you can see the output. You already know we're in pitch black right now. So all of this light output, 100% of it is coming from those 2 Baja S2s. Say I didn't want it to be so bright, maybe I'm blinding the people that are behind me. You have this dimming function where I can turn it down, so we're at 28%. So that's gonna be 28% there. I appreciate you sticking around all the way to the end, and if you did, do me a couple favors. One, if you enjoyed this video, drop a thumbs up. It helps this video be more successful to get seen by people just like yourself. 2, if you enjoyed this video, and if this is your first, or maybe you watched a couple of my videos, but you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. You will be able to see anytime I upload future content on the channel. If you have any questions about the RAD Designs third brake light, the Baja Designs lights, or just anything for myself or the Fortune Taco, drop a comment down below. I try my best to reply to every comment that is left on my videos. Thank you guys once again for sticking around to the end. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you on the next video.